Hey guys, welcome to the team call. So glad you guys can make it live. You're in for a treat tonight. We have an awesome guest speaker. So I'm really excited for Patrick to share with you tonight. But first, just a couple little housekeeping things before we get started. If you aren't getting the newsletter, make sure that you reach out to your upline to get a link to subscribe, since I kind of keep you posted there. But it's a couple things I forgot. And if you're taking a look at your back office, most of this, you should know, but the holiday sale is not there. I saw it on the hot list, but it wasn't on the back office. So just a reminder that the holiday sale is next week, the 21st. So, I'll talk more about that in the team page, but kind of be thinking about that now. I know that I buy a ton of stuff for gifts and stuff. I get like $5 programs, like DVDs. So we'll talk about that more, but I want to kind of put that on your radar now. Also, the health bet on January 9th. Be thinking about that now. We're keeping momentum through these 2 months. So, be prepared for that heavy hitting month now. That's it. I'm gonna let Patrick talk to you, but I did want to say awesome work this past week with the Team Spirit Challenge, all the fun things we're doing. There's a lot more engagement this week and a lot more fun. So great job, and half the month is through. So I hope you're keeping up that momentum, and we're gonna hit it harder this next 2 months. So let me, I don't know much about, but your story really, Patrick, but so I'm looking forward to hear a little. There are more than that. How many times elite? Multiple. Three-time elite coach. He's got more. I mean, there's more Patrick got to share. So he's obviously has a lot of value to share with us tonight, and I'm excited to hear from him. I hope you guys are taking notes, and I hope you're prepared to ask him some questions. When you have a this much intellectual coaching capital right here, you want to make sure that you take advantage of it, asking questions, taking notes. So take it away, Patrick. We're excited to hear from you.
Awesome. I'm excited to be here. I see what Megan's up to, so I totally I love the way she goes about her business and the way she builds her team. So you guys are really lucky to have her as your leader. I'm here in like a hotel room. Not the nicest, but I love to travel, so I'm always like on the move all the time. So like I've been a coach for 8 years, and seems like it's gone by so fast. So I signed up I would say like in 2007. I guess I can back up a little bit, but I went to college and played lacrosse in college, was a college athlete. I loved like being in shape. I never had to worry about what I ate. I never had to worry about like being in shape. It was just part of being on the team, was going to the gym with my teammates and working out and pushing each other in the locker room and supporting each other in the locker room. So if any of you guys are on this call are guys, or you have, challengers that are guys, like I always call the challenge group when I'm talking to guys, I call it like the locker room, because like when I played football in high school, or, when I played college lacrosse, like the locker room, that's where we went and we worked out and we supported each other and we pushed each other. And that's what I group. It's not, think of a challenge group as like this whole, kumbaya, camaraderie, just like a locker room. So whenever, I have my guy coaches and my guy clients, that's what I call a challenge group. I'm like, basically it's a locker room where we go there and we work out together. But anyways, so I graduate college, and all of a sudden, like my metabolism, I guess, slows down. I went to school for accounting. I get behind a desk. I'm studying for the CPA exam. I'm working full time, 60 hours a week, coming home, doing the CPA exam thing. And, I was eating whatever I could grab, and went up about 30 pounds from about like 180 up to like 210. In like my first year out of school. And it was like kind of weird to me, because I had always been an athlete. I was always like this athletic guy. Like I never had to really try. It was just like part of who I was. And all of a sudden I lost that. I lost two things. I lost like being that like athlete, and I also lost being part of a team. And it was like, it kind of put me in this funk. And I'm watching these infomercials for P90X, and I watched probably about 10 of them. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I just need to do this. Like, these people are getting results. They're real people. They're just like me. I need to buy this thing and just do it. Like, I know I'm going to feel better. I'm going to get back to that like athlete that I kind of lost. I bought it, did it for 2 weeks, loved it. I felt stronger. Like, I could feel it in my legs. Like, I just felt like I was coming back to that athlete body, but I only did it for 2 weeks, and I fell off, and it just sat there and kind of collected dust, and life got in the way. And then he was a coach, and he reached out to me, and he was like, hey, like, I saw you were doing P90X, you know, like, I'm going to do another round. We should do this together. And maybe you can even become a coach down the line, and there's an income potential. And that kind of interests me, but it was like, okay, like, let's do P90X together. Let's see what happens when I do this alongside you, because I do really miss that camaraderie. I do really miss being a part of a team, because that's something that I've always loved my entire life. So we started P90X again, and this time I got to do it with my friend. Even though we didn't live near each other, we just kind of kept each other accountable through Facebook. And I did 90 days of it, and I lost 90 pounds. I lost 30 pounds. I got back to like the weight that I was when I was a college athlete, and I felt like that college athlete again. And that's when I realized and really believed and fell in love with the products. But not only the products, I really believed and fell in love with what we do as coaches. And you know, all of my coaches that are successful on my team, they have those two things. You know, they're people that believe in the products, they love the products, and they really believe in what we do as coaches. I really do believe that if you don't have those two things, it's going to be very difficult to have success with this. So anytime someone comes to me and they say, you know, hey, I want to do what you do. I want to build a business. I want to have more financial freedom in my life. I want to travel and do the things, create the kind of lifestyle you have. I always tell them, that's great. Go through one of my challenge groups first so you can try the products and see what we do in these challenge groups, the accountability that we provide as coaches. Because if you fall in love with the products and you fall in love with what we do as coaches in those groups, then you're going to make a great coach. It's going to be a good fit for you. But if those things aren't for you, then it's not going to be a good fit for you, and that's fine. But I just want to make sure that it is a good fit for you, because I don't want to waste your time, or, you know, waste my time trying to teach you. So that's kind of always been my mentality. That's kind of a little bit of my story. But I started to take the business a little bit more seriously when, you know, I saw Carl Deichler speak, and my buddies are coming from Rochester, New York. I'm living in Boston at the time, and Carl's flying in for this event in Boston, and my buddies are like, come to this event and just see what it was all about. And I was working for the #1 accounting firm in the world, and I had this great career path, and I had these great relationships and connections with the partners, and my career was like booming. And you know, and I was excited about it. I was pretty content. And then all of a sudden I went to this event and I saw what these other coaches were doing. You know, like I saw the impact they were really having on people's lives. You know, I was helping rich people make more money, or keep more of their money they were making, and I was happy doing that. But I saw coaches get on stage and talk about being their own boss, and creating all this lifestyle, whatever they wanted, who they wanted to work with, when they wanted to work, as much as they wanted to work with. It was just, and they were really so excited and inspired about the impact they were having on the people they were working with. And I was just like so in awe. All of a sudden, like that accounting career I had that I was pretty excited about, that I was, you know, kind of content with, I wasn't content with it anymore, because I knew this other thing was out there. I didn't like go all in at first. I've been a coach for 8 years. The first 4 years I sucked. I was not very good at this thing. I had very, very little success. The last 4 years have been, you know, great. I'll probably hit elite this year, and it'll be 4 years in a row of elite. But the first 4 years, I didn't sign a lot of coaches. I didn't sell a lot of challenge packs. I didn't make a lot of money. I didn't impact a ton of lives. So I'm going to talk a little bit about like the difference between, you know, the first 4 years and kind of the last for. So if there's anyone on this call that feels like they've been struggling a little bit, their business hasn't been growing as fast as they want, you know, just know that I was so bad at this for 4 years. And now, you know, have been able to leave my job and create, you know, a multiple six-figure income with this thing, and been able to, with my team, impact so many lives. And I know I'm supposed to say there's like a disclaimer, like with the income thing, right? There's like your income is based on like your skill and your diligence and all that stuff. I got to get that out there, right, Megan? Yeah, okay. All right. So anytime someone comes to me and you know, they say, Pat, I really want to do what you do. I really want to. I really want to build a team that's impacting a lot of lives. I really want to be a part of something like bigger than myself. I want to be a part of something that's making a real difference in the world. Or someone comes to me and says, like, I want to create a six-figure income. I just feel suffocated in my job. It's not my thing. Or I'm a stay-at-home mom and I just need to make a little bit of extra money to kind of help with the family. Anytime someone comes to me with these questions, I want to impact a lot of lives. I need more income for more peace of mind in my life. I always answer it the same way. Like, it's going to come down to one thing and one thing only. And I think coaches do such a great job of complicating this business and making it so freaking complicated. But it really comes down to one thing. You need to develop a couple good leaders that want to do this with you. If you can find like 2 or 3 people that believe in the products as much as you, that believe in the accountability that these challenge groups provide as much as you, that want to impact other people's lives as much as you, that want to grow themselves as much as you, and that want to build a team that's going to impact a ton of lives, that's also going to help them create more financial freedom in their life. If you can find 2 or 3 people that believe in that and are willing to stick this out for the long term and build a team of their own, you're going to hit everything. Anything that you have is like your why, you're going to hit it. I'm always like, that's the main thing I talk about to my coaches. And my coaches are probably so tired of me talking about it, but I say it over and over and over. You gotta see the big picture with this thing. It's not about the rank. It's not about, like, I'm all about Success Club and I think it's great, but I'm so much more about the big picture. It comes down to finding 2 or 3 leaders that really want to do this with you. If you can find those 2 or 3 leaders, you're going to have so much success with this, because you're going to be able to help so many more people than you can on your own. And then the financial side of it, it just kind of, it's related to that. It kind of kicks in as well. But the catch with that is that those 2 or 3 people you want on your team are usually people that are going to have to sit back for a while and watch you, because they're pretty smart people. And they're usually people that are probably doing pretty good with whatever else they're doing in life. Kind of like I was with, you know, accounting. I was already doing really well in that. You know, I had to like let my buddy ask me, and I had to say no, and I had to watch him, and I was real skeptical because I didn't need it. You know, like I had to watch him continue to do it. Just like this is what's going to happen with you guys. You're going to have to show people that you're serious about this and that this is a real opportunity. And the only way you can prove that to people is that you show up every day with your own journey, posting and sharing that on social media every day for a year. Literally, it's just how it works. Like, we go to college and we'll put in 4 years of college and we'll put in all this money in debt and collect all this debt, because then after 4 years we can get a paycheck. And Beachbody is like no different. You got to put in that year of growing and understanding and gaining confidence and gaining credibility and gaining trust before people are going to join you and want to be a part of this thing. It's no different. But we treat it differently for some reason. So I'm sure there's a lot of visual learners on the call. I'm such a visual learner. I'm sure you guys some of you have probably tried to run up an escalator that's going down. So when I was a kid, I would be at a mall, I thought it was fun to try to run up these escalators that were going down. And my mom would yell at me and she'd be like, that's so dangerous. What are you doing? Get away from that thing. The first year of this business is very similar to running up an escalator that's going down. So you're excited, right? Like, you're so pumped up. You're like, I'm going to run up this thing. I'm going to get to the top. And you're running full speed and you're on your own journey and you're connecting with new people and you're inviting and you're sharing and you're not moving as fast as you want, because You're going uphill against the traffic of this escalator. And just like this business, like we said, people need to watch you for a while. Credibility. You need to gain trust. They need to see you stay consistent for 6 months, for a year, before they're going to say yes. But what most coaches make the mistake of, and I was so guilty of this, and this is the reason I didn't have any success my first 4 years, was I would get excited after an event or get excited after a call like this, and I'd be all in on my invites and my follow-ups, right? And I'd get it back on that escalator, and I'd be running full speed, and I'd be doing it for like a month or two, and I'd be like, nobody's really interested. Like the yeses aren't coming, people aren't buying, coaches aren't signing as fast as I want. Like, what is going on? Like, this isn't working. And then I'd get discouraged and I'd stop. You got anyone that probably feel like that's happened to them? And what happens when you're on an escalator that's going down and you stop running? You stop moving forward. What happens? You go backwards. You go all the way back to the bottom, because all those people that were watching you, that started to kind of be like, huh, what is going on? What are they doing? They saw you stop, and they saw you go all, and you go back to the bottom, because they go, good thing I didn't join them, because they didn't do it. That thing they were doing, that's not real, because they quit. They gave up. I'm glad I didn't do it with them. And I did that to myself for 4 years, over and over. I'd get halfway up the escalator. People started to kind of take notice, and then I'd get discouraged because it wasn't coming as fast as I wanted. And then I'd quit, and I'd stop, and then all that credibility, I'd lose it, and I'd go all the way to the bottom of the escalator. And meanwhile, all these other coaches that were signing up after me and knew how to work this thing would get on the escalator, stay consistent for a full year with their own journey, and people watched them for 6 months, for a year, and started joining them, and they had these great teams, and they'd get to the top of the escalator, and their teams were running on flat ground, full speed ahead, blowing up. Meanwhile, I'm sitting here going up and down the escalator, taking breaks every month or every other month. And I'm like, I met these coaches. Like, if you guys met me, you'd be like, this guy is just a normal dude. Like, he's no freaking genius. He doesn't do anything that's special. I met these other coaches that were killing this thing, and I realized they're no different than me. I made the mistake of putting them on a pedestal and thinking, they're so great. They're like, they got these unbelievable skills, blah, like all these things that like made me think that they had something I didn't. I met them. I talked to them. They were nervous just like I was nervous when I was talking to them. They were still trying to figure out their path in life, just like I'm still trying to figure it out too. They don't have it all figured out, but they just stay consistent with those little daily disciplines every single day. And people watch them and they get inspired because they've stayed so consistent, and they gain that credibility and they gain that trust after 6 months, after a year. And those people finally come back around and they say, okay, I trust you. I want to do one of your challenge groups. I want to do the coaching thing with you. That's the secret to this business. Don't complicate it any more than that. If you can stay on the escalator for a full year, it's inevitable that you're going to attract 2 or 3 good people that really want to do this with you, that are willing to stay on the escalator for a full year themselves, and are going to start to build a successful team of their own. And once that starts to happen, this business starts to take off, and it's so exciting. It's so fun. My favorite part of this business is when I get a coach that is like kind of going through the motions in life, and they find their passion for this thing morning, and they're so pumped up. And to me, like, it just makes me smile that I helped someone find something that they're so excited about, and I see them impacting so many lives now. And I realized that that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't stayed on the escalator for a full year. So then I look back down that escalator that I had to stay on for a year when I wasn't really having much results, wasn't selling a lot of challenge packs, wasn't signing a lot of coaches. But I look down back at that journey, all the way back down at the bottom of that escalator from the top, and I look at those few coaches that are just so passionate about what they're doing in life and the impact they're having on people's lives, and I go, that freaking escalator was worth every freaking second of staying on it, even if it took me a year, even if it took me 2, because look at what we're doing now, right? So that's the biggest thing I teach my coaches, is that I call it #escalator mindset. You got to understand, you got to stay on that thing for a full year. That's how you find your 2 or 3 leaders, and when you find those 2 or 3 leaders, you're gonna have so much fun with this thing. You're gonna impact so many lives more than you can on your own. And it's just a blast. But people just need to watch you for a year. They really do. So I went really long on that one. But that's like, my coaches know that's my main thing. Like, if you ask any of the coaches I work with, and you said, like, what's Pat's thing that he always talks about? They'll be like, oh, this kid just doesn't stop talking about staying on the escalator. but it's just true. It's just kind of like, it's that simple. You got to be on your own journey, not because you're building a business. Like I always ask people, why do you eat right? Why do you read personal development? Why do you work out every day? There's two reasons, like there's two different ways people answer it. And the way you answer it, I think dictates how much success you're going to have in this business. Some people answer that question, oh, I read and I do personal development. I eat right and I do the workouts because I'm building this business. And then there's people that say, I'm reading and I'm doing personal development and I'm eating right because I just want to live a healthy lifestyle. It's the kind of lifestyle I want to have. And they're doing those things for them, not because they're trying to build a business. And that's just so much more genuine and real. They're doing it because that's just who they are. And if you're doing those things because that's just who you are, and you're just posting that on social media, sharing your journey, not being salesy, you're going to attract other people that want to have that lifestyle for them. And that's just who they are. And then eventually those kind of people are going to attract other people that want to be a part of that lifestyle too. So next part is I'm always like trying to figure out how come some coaches stay on the escalator for a full year and some only stay on it for 2 months. Like, what was the difference between my first 4 years and my last 4? Because the difference for me wasn't that I was doing anything different. It was just I was doing it more consistently. It's a simple business. It's not easy, but it's a simple thing. Why did I stay consistent for these last 4 years and the first 4 I didn't? And how come some coaches stay on the escalator for a full year and some don't? And it comes down to 2 things: your why and your belief. Like, if you don't have a strong enough why that's going to get you to stay on an escalator, that's going to get you to show up to this business and show up to your own journey and show up to your invites and the vital behaviors and that vital process every day for a full year, when people need to sit back and watch you for a full year, if you don't have a strong enough why to show up every day for a year to do that, then you're probably not going to stay on the escalator. And you're not going to gain that trust and credibility. You're not going to find those leaders. And then once they figure that why out, then they have that strong why. That's great. But if they don't believe that the things they're doing every day are actually going to get them to that why, they're probably not going to stay on the escalator either. So when I talk to my 2 coaches, the first thing with the why is I have them create either a why list, a list of everything they want as like a vision board. Some of them, I like to have them create a vision board, or if they just want to write it out as a why list, from the small to the big. I had a coach the other day say, hey, I want to just be able to afford the softer Charmin toilet paper. And I was like, boom, add that shit to the list. Like, that little stuff all the way up to the big stuff. Like, if financial freedom's your thing, and everything in between, being able to afford your Shakeology, phone bills, being able to help pay for some of the rent, financial freedom. Like, create that list. Like, get really clear on like the things that you want to accomplish, and also like, what kind of impact do you want to have on people's lives? Like, what kind of tracks do you want to leave? And when I say what kind of tracks do you want to leave, I mean, like, when you're gone, like, what kind of impact are you still going to have? Because like, you're going to have an impact on people's lives after you're gone. You're going to impact people's lives you've never met before, if you're willing to stay with this thing. So what kind of tracks do you want to leave? That's part of the why too. Get really clear on those things. Like, if someone that never knew you went up to one of your friends and asked and said, like, hey, what was he or she about? What were they all about? Like, what would you want your friend to say? Like, really think about that. Like, what would you want your friend to say about you to someone who didn't know you? If they came up and said, hey, what was he or she all about? And hopefully that's the life you're living. Like, hopefully what you want your friend to say, that's who you actually are, and you're doing those things. But if you're not, start doing those things. You know what I mean? Like, that's got to be part of your why too. So I try to get my coaches really clear on that why, like that vision, that and those little tiny things too. And then the other thing is like the belief. Like, if they have this unbelievable why, but they don't really believe the things they're doing every day are actually going to get them there, they're probably not going to stay on the escalator for the full year. They're going to get discouraged like I did, after a month or 2, and they're going to go back down the escalator, and they're just going to stay on this escalator over and over because they're never going to stay consistent for that full year and gain that trust and credibility that they need. So the way I help instill belief is I kind of reverse engineer it. So simple business, right? You need to develop a couple good leaders that want to do this with you. But where are those leaders going to come from? I told you like what really did it for me, those 2 or 3 leaders are going to come from your challenge groups, because they're going to be people that believe in the products, and they're going to be people that believe in how powerful those groups are, how powerful that accountability system is. And then how do you get people into your challenge groups? The free groups is a great way to do it, right? Also, you got to stay on the escalator for a full year. Like, you got to be consistent. You got to be being proof the products work, doing your personal development, inviting, sharing your journey on social media, connecting with new people each day, doing those things. So now it's not like, hey, these vital behaviors are just these things that people tell me to do every day. Now you can see exactly how those things, if you do them every day, lead to getting people like that gaining trust, gaining credibility, getting people into your free groups, eventually into your challenge groups, and then eventually some of those people are going to be the ones that become those 2 or 3 leaders, and then those 2 or 3 leaders are what's going to help you create that why and turn it into a reality, right? So those are the 2 things I'm helping my coaches with, that why and that belief. I feel like once you have those things, like I'm so like consistent about saying you got to be consistent. You got to stay on the escalator for a year. You got to gain the credibility. You got to gain the trust. But I've noticed that once a coach has that kind of that why, that powerful why, and they have that belief and understanding of these little things I'm doing every day are just inevitably going to lead to that 2 or 3 leaders that want to do this with me. And so they have that why with that belief. I don't have to worry about them trying to be consistent. They just will be. If they're not consistent, it's because they're missing one of those 2 things. And that's where it's like, if someone's like, my time management's off, or I struggle being consistent, it's like, you're struggling with one of those 2 things. Because once you have those 2 things down, you'll just be consistent. You know, you'll make time on the days you don't have time. You'll find time. You'll show up on the days you don't feel like it. So that's the mindset I'm always trying to talk to my coaches about. I know I talked for like probably a half an hour just about that, but I can literally, what I just said in a half an hour, I can say in like a sentence or 2. It comes down to finding 2 or 3 leaders that want to do this with you. And if you want to find them, you got to stay consistent and be on the escalator for a full year, period. Just how the business works, you know? All right. So then once I get my coaches to like really understand that's the mindset they need to have to be successful with this thing, then I teach them the skills they need. And there's kind of 5 skills I teach. The first is sharing their journey on social media, posting on social media. This is something I'm not like the greatest at, you know, like I'm a work in progress in sharing on social media. I post once a day, you know, usually at like 6 o'clock at night every day. And I'm always trying to add value some way. You know, whether it's something that I saw that was funny, or I'm sharing something that to me, my sense of humor thought it was funny. So I'm going to share that, because those 2 or 3 leaders you want on your team that are, you know, like they're probably going to have this similar sense of humor to you. So sharing your sense of humor, I think, is important, because it's going to attract people that have that similar sense of humor. I also share, you know, when I'm sharing about a challenge group, it's never, hey, here's a challenge group link, or here's a link to my website, you should go do this. It's like, I'm doing this with or without you. Like, if you want to do it with me, cool. If you don't, that's cool too. You know, like, it's always, I'm doing this, I think it'd be fun to do together. It's never you go do this, it's always we should do this together. I think it'd be fun. That's my, whenever I'm posting them, you know, about the challenge group stuff. I think the thing that held me back more than anything else, that if I could go back and have a better understanding of it, is I had like, there was like 1 or 2 people in my life that I was like nervous that if I posted something, they would like say something about it, or they wouldn't like it, or they'd make fun of me of it for whatever reason. I'm sure you guys probably all have 1 or 2 people in your life that there's 1 or 2 people that you just certain things because they're going to say something, or they're going to look at you weird, or whatever. I got a question for you. Are you going to let those 1 or 2 people dictate what you post, which is going to dictate the amount of people you're going to reach, which is going to dictate the impact you're going to have on people's lives, which is going to dictate the success you have in this business? Are you going to let 1 or 2 people dictate the success you have in this business? Or are you going to let the thousands and hundreds of thousands of people out there that would love to hear what you have to post? And you might think that no one wants to hear what you want to hear, but that's bull, because there's so many people out there that are going through the same things that you're going through. And they would love to just know that someone else is going through those same things, and would love to just see that post, be able to relate to you. It would impact their life. Maybe it would lead to them joining a free group and eventually a challenge group, and maybe them becoming a coach. So my question to you is, when you're worried about posting certain things on social media, are you going to let those one or two people dictate your success, dictate the impact you have on people's lives? Or are you going to let the thousands of other people that would love to probably hear what you have to say, are you going to let those people dictate what you're sharing on social media? Because that's something I made a huge mistake with, and I wish I had done it different. And I hope you guys decide to do it differently than I did when I first started. But that's the first skill I teach people, is just being real on social media. And a coach is just someone who loves the products. You don't have to be like some expert. And so when you're posting on social media, don't feel like you got to be inspiring all the time. If you're struggling, share your struggle. Like, if you want to connect with other people, you got to share what you're struggling with. You can't go around saying, I'm so excited about this program, I'm so excited about this coaching thing. People that aren't at that point yet, they can't relate to that. And that's what 90% of coaches do. They just go around saying how excited they are about everything. And the people that are struggling, like, they're not there yet. You got to meet people where they're at. If you want to connect with people, if you want people to trust you, you got to share what you're struggling with or what you have struggled with, so they can connect with that and gain that trust, because they go, this person's just like me. They're struggling just like I'm struggling with these same things, but they're finding a way to kind of get past these struggles. Let me see what they do. Let me watch them a little closer. Now you're on that escalator. Now you got people watching. Now you're starting to gain credibility and trust. So you can't just go around saying you're so excited about everything. You got to get vulnerable and share the things that were a struggle, because you wouldn't be doing this business if there weren't certain things in your life that you didn't, certain things that you wanted to change. So what were those things that you wanted to change a little bit? What were those things you struggled with? Get good at sharing those things, because there's other people that I guarantee are struggling with those same things and would love to learn about how to change those things and get past those things. But you can't connect with them unless you're willing to be vulnerable and share those struggles, and allow them now watch you for a year so they can gain that trust and say, okay, they've been able to start to overcome these things, whether it's an income thing or a confidence thing or a weight thing. They need to know that you're struggling with that, and then they need to watch you for a year, kind of work through that, and then they're going to be able to trust you and get on board with what you're doing. So number one, that's, sharing that journey on social media. Number two, you got to be connecting with new people every day. I think that's the biggest thing that I notice between like really successful coaches and coaches that just are doing okay, is if you only got like the same 10 people liking your posts every day, you're probably not going to do so well. Like, if you're not connecting with new people every day, if you're not adding new people to your network, it's never going to get going where you want it to go. And I look at it this way, like, when I'm adding new people to my network, I'm not like adding new people to my network because there are more people to sell to. I'm adding new people to my network because I want to surround myself with people that are like-minded. So I'm connecting and adding new people as friends every day because I want to increase my support system every day. And that's what I tell my coaches, like, add 2 or 3 or 10 new people every day so that you're increasing your support system, so that you have more positive reinforcement in your life. And then that also is going to connect. That's also going to transfer to more people that want to be a part of your journey too, because you're going to have more eyes on your journey as well. It's a win-win. You have more eyes on your journey that are kind of like-minded, supporting you, and then eventually those people are going to, some of them want to join you on that journey too, which is going to help your business. So you got to be connecting with new people every day, even as a brand new coach. I know you got your warm market that you're connecting with and working with, but connect with new people and don't go for the sale right away. Just connect with them, find people you have things in common with, start those relationships, those conversations, and just kind of let them watch what you're doing for a few months. And then you can, reach out to them, about inviting. Which leads me into my third skill, which is getting good at and just inviting people to a free group or a challenge group. And, I think this is where people struggle. A lot of coaches struggle with this. They feel like they're annoying people. So for me, I don't feel like it at all. I don't feel like I'm annoying anybody. I feel like I'm inviting someone to come to a party at my house on Friday night. So like when I'm inviting someone for the first time in a private message, I don't write like this huge long thing. it's almost like, hey, I'm having a party Friday night. I'd love for you to come. Hey, I'm doing this 21-day challenge on X date. I'd love to do it. I think it'd be fun to do together. That's it. Like literally, that's what I say. You know, like, hey, I'm doing this 21-day challenge on this date. I think it'd be fun to do together. Question mark. Like if I'm inviting people over to my house for like a Friday party, I'm not gonna say, hey, I'm having a party Friday and like there's gonna be chips in the cabinet, like the second cabinet up, and there's gonna be dip in the fridge and the second drawer, and then you're gonna have this over here. Like it's just, hey, I'm doing this. I think it'd be fun to do together. And if they're interested, they can ask me for more information about it. But I'm throwing it out there as like, hey, I'm having a party Friday. I'd love for you to come. I'd love to hang out with you. It'd be great. Just like a 21-day challenge. Hey, I'm doing this 21-day challenge on this date. I think it'd be fun to do together if you're up for it. Hey, I'm doing Quarter Force on the Monday after Thanksgiving. I think it'd be fun to do together if you're up for it. And then if they say, what is it all about? I say, you know, let me ask you a few questions about your goals, and I can kind of help you figure out like the best option for you, the best way to go about this thing. And then I get to know a little bit more about, you know, what their goals are, what their biggest obstacles are, and all that stuff. But that's the third skill. The fourth skill, which I think is kind of the foundation of my business, is giving my challengers an unbelievable experience in my challenge groups. I really think that's the foundation. I fell in love with that. You know, like, I don't know, I posted yesterday, you know, I got into this business not because like I just wanted to help people. I wish I could say I did, but like I got into this business because I wanted to earn a second income on the side. I was like, this is a cool way to earn income on the side. P90X fucking works. Like I love it. Oops, sorry, I swore. My bad. I honestly like it was an income thing, but then I honestly, the more I started working with people and seeing the results they got physically and more than that, the mental side of it, I got addicted to helping people. And I just fell in love and believed so much in those little tiny challenge groups and the impact they have on people. I know the products work. They're the best products in the world. They're amazing. But if people don't stick with them and use them, they don't work. And that's why we, the coaches, are the glue of this entire freaking thing. And our challenge groups are so vital to that. So for me, like if you fall in love with that experience we give people, and you really embrace that, when you're talking to people about joining a challenge group and buying a challenge pack, they're pretty smart. They're gonna be able to tell that if you're the kind of person that really believes in the challenge groups and you buy into that, they're gonna be able to tell that your job isn't to sell. Your job, and I'm telling you right now, your job isn't to sell. Your job isn't to hit Success Club. Your job starts once you hit Success Club. Once you sell those challenge packs, that's when you roll up your sleeves and that's when you go to work. That's where the real work starts. And if you fall in love with that and you embrace that, you're gonna get more people that wanna buy your challenge packs and do your challenge groups, because they can tell that you're not here to sell, that you're here to really give them a great experience. Not to just give them a great 21-day before and after, but to really help them instill some habits that are gonna create a long-term sustainable lifestyle for the rest of their life. And if you do that, you're gonna get more people in, just like you said, but also you give people that kind of experience and you are in that challenge group with them every day, connecting, giving them that amazing experience, they're gonna fall in love with the products. They're gonna be more likely to wanna give this experience to other people. And if they do become a coach, and they're gonna be more likely to become a coach, I'm telling you that right now. And when they do, they're gonna make such a better coach, because they're gonna give the same experience to their people that you gave to them. So for me, that experience, like in the challenge groups, like really fall in love with that, not just throwing people into a group and letting them do whatever they want to do, but really giving them an amazing experience in there. That to me, that's the foundation. And then the fifth skill is I just teach people how to introduce, you know, their people to the coaching opportunity. I'm a simple guy. Like I'm not the rock star coach that's like gonna sign a million coaches. I'm just the guy that like is gonna do the little things every day, try to help 3 to 5 people every month in a challenge group, try to give those 3 to 5 people the best freaking experience I possibly can. And if they want to give that chance to other people, I'm going to help them do those same things. I'm going to show them the big picture. I'm going to teach them that they got to stay on the escalator for a year. I'm going to teach them how to share their journey on social media. I'm going to teach them how to connect with new people and start new connections and relationships each day. And I'm going to teach them how to invite and how to give their people a great experience. And I just do that, and I keep it as simple as possible. Simple, simple, simple. That's it. But I'll tell you, like, the last thing I'll say before, if you have time for questions, but like, I would never have gotten on a Zoom call like this and talked like this 5 years from now. Never would have done it. Not a chance. Like, when I first became a coach, someone, you know, the coach above me asked me to get on a call, and I wouldn't get on because I was afraid they would ask me to just introduce like, forget my name or say something dumb or something, you know? Like, there's this weird freaking thing. We were like babies. We're learning to walk. Like, we would get up, wobbly step, and we'd fall. And we'd be like, whatever. And we'd get back up, and we'd take another wobbly step and fall. And we'd get back up, and we'd take 2 steps, and we'd fall. And we'd get back up, and we'd take 3. And then all of a sudden, we're walking across the room, and all of a sudden, we're like running. It wasn't like we would like take a step, wobbly, fall, and be like, oh, this walking thing isn't for me. I'm going to crawl the rest of my life. Like, this coaching thing is just like learning to walk as a baby. But for some reason, as we get older and we have this conditioned thinking, we worry what other people think of us, we do something that's new and we're not good at it because you're not going to be, because you've never done it, but we're not. And we go, oh, this isn't for me. It's a learning process. It's just like learning to walk. You're not going to be good at all this stuff at first, but I guarantee you, if you just like a baby, get back up and take another step and then fall and get back up and take another step, you're going to get better and better and better. And before you know it, you're going to be walking, you're going to be running, you're going to be running up this escalator, and you're going to get to the top. But you just got to have that patience and not worry about what other people think. One thing I say to my coaches all the time is like something, and everything I say to my coaches are things that I'm struggling with myself. It's great for me to tell them because it helps me remind myself of, I need to remind myself of this stuff too. Anytime you're nervous about what other people think of you, or you're doubting yourself, you're in your head and you're thinking about yourself. And if you can start making a shift from your head and worrying about yourself and shift to your heart and focus on how you can serve others, you're going to have so much more joy and so much more success in this business. It's a very difficult thing to do because we're so conditioned to worry about how we come off to others and what other people think of us, and to make sure we're impressing other people and all that. Get out of it. If you can just start being conscious of that and being like, stop worrying about how you come off to others. It's like, just come from your heart, focus on how you can serve. It quiets that mind, and it's so much more fun. You have so many stronger connections with other people. Your business will grow. You'll have more fulfillment. Get out of your own heads. I'm telling you, and just come from your heart and have fun with this thing. That's all I got.
Well, that was pretty awesome. Shoot. That's awesome. The elephant. Wait. And then you.
Okay.
That's me. No, I mean, so many things I like jotted down and pulled out that I'm gonna try to let them ask questions first, because I do have some things I wrote down. But I just loved everything you said, and the elevator mindset. I think we have a new hashtag. I think my girls are already like loving that hashtag. We was kind of, we're gonna gank that right now. So much, but I'm gonna let someone else ask questions because I'm sure they have. Let me see what we got. I'll mute you so that, but I don't want the echo to distract us. Okay. Is there a PD book for that? Not caring what others think. Let me unmute you, Patrick. Make sure you're. Hang on. Is it unmuted?
Can you hear me now?
There you go. Yeah.
I can't see anyone else's chat. Is there like something I need to click on?
I don't know. You don't see it. You don't see the chat?
Can you guys see what I just posted in the chat?
At least we're not echoing, so that's good. I don't see it. I don't see it.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I can't see what you guys are posting.
Okay, I'll read any questions. There's lots of stuff. There's lots. They've been cheering you on the whole time. They're loving like a lot of interjections during your talk.
Yeah.
There a lot of aha moments, it seems, for people. Definitely some laughter. They're I'll share it with you later, but they're definitely really feeling what you're putting down, and they're appreciating it. So that's the first question that we have is, was there a PD book for that, not caring what others think?
The 4 agreements.
The 4 agreements.
4 agreements. And it's funny, I'm reading a book right now that's really good. It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F.
Subtle art.
The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F-bomb. And
who's the author on that?
Oh my God, I got it right here. Hold on. I think the guy. Who's the guy that you guys have heard of the 4 agreements? I can't. That's a great one for not getting so caught up in what other people think. But this one is Mark Manson.
Okay.
Mark Manson.
Those are 2.
It's called The Subtle Art of Not Giving a F, a counterintuitive approach to living a good life. So it's like, it's about not getting so caught up in caring so much about the things that you don't really need to care about, and focusing more on the things that you should care about, like the vital things. So not worrying so much about what other people think of you and how to do that. But the 4 agreements, I would say, is a great one for that too.
Okay.
This is a tough one for me because, like, honestly, coming from like an athletic background, like all I did my whole life was try to impress the coach and try to impress the teacher and try to my parents' expectation. My parents are amazing. They're great. Like, I didn't go into that part of my story, but like, sisters are full-time coaches. They both make 6-figure incomes with this business. My mom makes 6-figure incomes with this business. Like, my dad does this thing full-time. Like, we are all so passionate about the products and what this coaching opportunity does, and we love it, you know. It's just been a blessing to like our family, and that's I think a big reason like my sisters had a lot of success with this thing is because when they saw me success with it, they didn't look at me and say, oh, that's Patrick Riehlman, 3-time elite coach. They were like, oh, that's Pat, my brother, like definitely can freaking do it. He's just a guy that goes around telling people that you got to stand on an escalator for a year. You know, like, and so they just got on the escalator and stayed on it for a year. And, you know, by the time they had stayed consistent with their own journey for a year, they had a few good people that wanted to really run with them on this thing.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
That's so awesome that you've been able to bless your family with this opportunity.
Yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. The family biz.
That's so cool. The next question from Melissa: do you ever get crickets in your groups, even if you follow up with them directly? How do you overcome that and feel like you're giving them a great experience?
So I'll give you a trick on like how ever since doing this, the participation in the group has gone up probably, I don't even know, like 10 times. So I post a daily photo that says, what was your workout today? And everyone comments below with it. I also post, you guys know there's a Darren Hardy has a Darren Daily, a video he sends out every day. I post that video in the group every day. And I say, comment below with your top takeaway. And before the group starts, I let them know I'm going to post these 2 things. I'm going to do a daily recognition photo. His name and then 2 numbers next to their name. And the first number is going to represent how many times they commented on the daily workout. And the second number represents how many times they commented with their top takeaway from the Darren Daily. And I say, like, the goal is to have a 21 and a 21. so that you did it all 21 days. And, you know, they know that from day one. At the end, like towards the end, like my group just started yesterday for Court of Forest this time. So it's a 30-day group. I commented, you know, at the end of the day yesterday, I saw there was a few people that hadn't commented on the workout or the Darren Daily. And I texted them individually and I said, hey, just make sure, you know, you have a chance tonight to comment on that with your workout on the daily photo and with your top takeaway on the Darren Daily. Because tomorrow morning I'm posting a recognition with everyone's name for the people that did those, that commented on those two things. And like everybody did. Everyone had a 1 next to their name for the workout and a 1 next to the name for the Darren Daily. And you know, I think that little thing has increased participation like through the roof, because just a number next to someone's name makes them show up. And then because they have to go into the group to comment, they see what everyone else is posting, and then the interaction goes up too. And that little thing, where the name with the numbers next to it, that doesn't have to be anything special. You don't have to create a photo. You could just make a post where you type the name and tag it, and then put a number and then a second number, and then the next person's name, and then a number and a second number, and then just each day like add to it. And you know, at the end, if you do a 21-day challenge, the people that have a 21 next to their name and a 21 next to their name, those are the ones that make great coaches, because they're doing their workouts every day. And guess what? They're getting a lot of personal development. They're getting some really good mindset training, and they wouldn't have stuck with that for 21 days if they didn't love that stuff. So to me, like, those are the people that I'm reaching out to about the coaching opportunity.
That's good stuff. I've added Darren Dailies to my group the past few months too. Love it. Ariel asks, do you think it's better to run challenge groups through Facebook or through the challenge tracker app?
What do you do, Megan?
I'm doing both.
I always want to like make sure that coaches know, like, hey, you're the boss. You can do this whatever way works best for you. I never want a coach to think, hey, like, Pat's doing it this way, I have to do it this way. That's one of the things I'm really clear on is you're the boss. I'm not your boss. And I think people love that I'm not like so pressury with them. Like, you have to do it this way. You know, like, it's like, hey, like, I'm here to support you any way possible, but I'm not here to be your boss. I'm not here to be your teacher, or I'm not here to be your principal that's going to like scold you for not doing things. Take more ownership of the business. I think what I did in the beginning that was a mistake was I kept trying to drag people, and then I finally got to the point where it was like, hey, I'm doing this, and I do all those things with them to help them, but I'm like, hey, like, I'm doing this, and I really want you to do this with me, but I'm not gonna. I don't want to like drag you along, because if you try to drag someone along, all that does is make them feel like if they want to be successful, they're gonna have to drag people along, and it's gonna turn them off. So, but if you just go and you stay successful and you're doing your thing, and they start to get left behind a little bit, they're gonna have a little bit of that FOMO, and they're gonna get on board and run with this thing. Or they fall behind and it just wasn't a good fit for them at that time, and that's fine too. But you definitely can't waste your energy trying to drag people. That was one of the biggest mistakes I made. I can't even remember what the initial question was.
Challenge tracker app or Facebook?
Oh, I use Facebook, to be honest. Like, for me, like, I just think against the challenge tracker app, I think it's a good idea. But like, for me, it's, if people are in the Facebook group and they're commenting on each other's photos in the Facebook group, I feel like Facebook's algorithm is going to make their personal posts show up in other people's news feeds, so they're going to start to see each other's lives more for the community and the challenge group. So I stick with the Facebook groups.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. I've used the app for the health bet and for this month with Team Spirit, just because I want to support it and give. The Facebook group, it's just much more interaction, much more engagement, and like you said, you're intertwining lives through social media.
Yeah, for sure. And then like one of the coolest things is like when people come out of the challenge group and say you know they've started to really see each other's like personal posts on their own Facebooks, and they start to become, and they want to become coaches together, and you put them in a Coach Basics group together, like their rate of success as coaches like skyrockets. Mm-hmm. If they start together, if they've been through a challenge group together, they've gotten like they've gotten the personal development together, they've kind of connected, and now they're starting together. That's being from like day one.
Yeah, I agree. Next question is a good question. Love it, great idea, genius. Love all of this. I have 3 pages of notes. But Katie asks, where do the majority of your new contacts come from?
So a lot of them, I do Instagram and Facebook. So there's a website called instagress.com and instagress.com. So you can set it up so that it will search for any hashtag you want it to search for. I do not use the auto comments, but I pick like a lot of hashtags that are things that I love, like passions of mine. And I also use a lot of hashtags that are like local shops and gyms and, health food stores in my local community, so that Instagram goes and it finds photos that have been posted with those hashtags, and it just automatically likes those photos. And then people are like, who's this person that liked my photo? And they come to my page and if photo. And then I just look to see who my new followers are, or who's commenting on photos, and I look at their page, and if it's someone that I think I have some things in common with, I'll direct message them and start a conversation. Another thing I do is on Facebook, the suggested friends. I think that's such a great thing. Like, you can click on suggested friends and it'll show you all your suggested friends, but then you can filter suggested friends based on like what city they live in, or where they went to college, or who they work. Recommend like not getting on Instagram right now and just totally focusing on, this is what I tell my coaches, like, if you don't have Instagram, don't worry about Instagram. Like, just totally focus on the suggested friends on Facebook and fan pages and different groups that you can add yourself to. Like, if you're a mom, like, add yourself to a local mom group in your community. Add yourself to a local like garage sale group in your community. There's so many groups on Facebook you can add yourself to, and just start relationships with people in there. Not like go in the group and just post like about your challenge group, but look for people in that group that you think you kind of have things in common with, and send them a friend request and a message.
I've just discovered Instagram recently as well, and I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
And same thing that I found local, like the local gym, the local health food store. Meredith asks, now I'm gonna ask a question. Meredith asks, I just became a coach and running my first free 5-day challenge. Is it too soon to invite challengers to become a coach if I think I found a good candidate or two? Do I need to have more time under my belt?
So how long has she been a coach? What was the question?
She said she just became a coach and she's running her first free 5-day challenge. So I would say, wait, she's saying like, I'm nervous about having someone become a coach. I don't know what to do with them because I'm a new coach. Is it too soon to invite? She has a couple of challengers who she's identified as great challengers who she'd like to invite. She's asking, is it too soon? Because she doesn't have, the time under her belt. Right.
So I lead with the challenge groups or the free groups. I think that's like, for me, that's how I lead. But once in a while, I do lead with the business. But when I lead with the business, it's mostly with the guys, right? With my friends, and I'm like, hey, dude, like, you would do well with this, and I think you could help a lot of people. You could earn like an extra income on the side. But if you really are interested in earning some income on the side, like, go through one of my challenge groups first. Like, do a challenge group. Try the Shakeology. Try Shakeology. Try the workouts. Use the containers. The containers are freaking, I think, are cheap. Like, 80% of what people struggle with is food, and those containers just take out all the guesswork. They're genius. Like, so for me, I'm always, it's leading with the challenge groups. But if I do lead with the business, I want you to go through the challenge group first, so you can see what the products are all about and see what we do as coaches, and see like how vital that is. So for a brand new coach, I would say, like, if you're talking to someone who's just done a 5-day free thing, like, if you think they're going to be a great coach, like, don't be afraid to say, hey, like, I think you'd be great at what I do. Like, have you ever considered doing what I do? that's all I say is like, hey, have you ever considered doing what I do? I think you'd be great at it. Have you ever considered doing what I do? I think you'd be great at it. That's all I say. But then if they've never been through a challenge group though, I tell them they should go through a challenge group first though. But I'm not afraid to say, hey, like, I think you'd be a great coach, even if they haven't been through a challenge group yet. So yeah, if I were you, I would say, that's what I would say. It's like, I would exact whatever you said. I would just tell them that, hey, honestly, like, have you ever considered doing what I do? Like, I think you'd be great at it. And then let them kind of just say whatever they want to say. But I wouldn't like write a paragraph about, what a coach is. I would just say that one little simple thing. Have you ever considered doing what I do? I think you'd be great at it. And then kind of go from there. If they're interested, and say, hey, well, I think the next step would be just try one of my challenge groups, see the product, see what we do as coaches in the challenge group, and then you'll have a better idea if it's a good fit for you. And if it is, great. And if it's not, that's great too. You can always send the stuff back with a 30-day money back guarantee. But I think a lot of times coaches have this, like, maybe newer coaches, but coaches in general, they're like, oh, I don't think I'm ready to train a new coach because I'm just a new coach myself. Like, what am I going to do with a new coach? Like, oh my God, I can't. It's like terrifying, and it paralyzes them to even invite people to take a look at coaching because they don't think they're ready to train a coach. I ask my coaches that have that they're a little nervous to train a coach. I'll say, do you know, like, the big picture? And they're like, yeah, like, I need to stay on the escalator, and that's going to help me find 2 or 3 leaders that want to do this with me. Okay, great. Do you feel like confident with sharing your journey on social media? And they're like, yeah, like, I'm starting to get better at that. Okay, cool. Do you feel comfortable with how to find new people and connect with new people each day? Yeah, I'm pretty good with that. Do you feel comfortable with how to, like, invite somebody using the 5-step invite process? Yeah, it's going well. Then all you need to do when you find someone that you think would make a great coach, just teach them to do those things. It's not any more than that. Stop making it more than that, because that's all it is. Like, and if I'm asking those questions, like, on a scale of 1 to 10, like, how confident are you with, the big picture? On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you with inviting? On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you with posting on social media? On a scale of 1 to 10, how confident are you with inviting to a free group? If they're like at a 5, then I'm going to work with them to help them get to an 8. But if they're at an 8 with all those things, I go, you're overthinking this thing. You're good. Like, the simple things. This is a simple business. You know how to train a coach. Like, just teach them how to do those things that you're already doing, and don't make it more complicated than that.
Yeah, good answer. So there's another question, but I'll ask this. So what made you stick around for the 4 years that you couldn't make headway? Because a lot of people, they just decide to quit, and they have these repeat cycles. Was it just you had enough of a belief that you could do it and that you stuck around? I'm trying to figure out, like, all these people who leave the organization, or, oh, I'm just gonna be a discount coach. What made you stick around long enough to get to the place where you started to take it seriously?
Good question. I knew that the only reason I wouldn't be successful with this is if I quit. I didn't have a boss looking over my shoulder that was going to say, hey, you're not doing it fast enough. You're not doing it well enough. You're fired. The only way you can mess this business up is if you don't stay consistent, is if you quit. So for me, I started going to events, some of these local events, and I started seeing coaches that were doing well with it. And I knew that it literally was going to come down to one thing. I needed to find 2 or 3 people that wanted to build teams of their own and build teams of their own along with me. And we were going to be like leaders together. And I was like, why would that not happen? Like, honestly, like, why would that not, why, if like these products that I believe in 110%, and this is the lifestyle I want to live, and I just am super consistent with just sharing that stuff on social media, like why would I not find 2 or 3 people that really want to do this with me and want to do this long term and build teams alongside me? I just knew I would.
Okay, that's good.
You know, but when I'm talking to my coaches, I ask them like why they wouldn't think that. Like when I'm on a call with a coach that's 10 levels deep and I've never talked to that coach before, there's 3 questions I ask them. Like number 1, what are your whys? What are your things on your whys, on your why list? Number 2, do you know how you're going to get there? Big picture. It's going to come down to developing a couple good leaders that want to do this with you. And then, you know, the leaders are going to come from all the way, you know, being on the escalator for a year. And then number 3, like, why do you think that wouldn't happen? And I say, like, this is a safe, free zone. Like, I don't want you to answer like a cookie cutter answer. Like, on a scale of 1 to 10, how inevitable do you think that is that you're going to find, you know, a couple good people that really want to do this with you, that are going to develop into those leaders and build teams of their own? And I want you to be honest. You know, like, I'm here to help you. And if they say they're at like a 5, I go, that's okay, cool. Like, so what is the biggest obstacle or doubt you have with that right now? And whatever it is, as soon as they verbalize it, it kind of immediately loses power a little bit. And then we can start to work through that.
Gotcha. And why do you call your team Team Boom?
So one of my, like, the first coaches I signed up, he was actually a customer lead that I got, and he was doing P90X. He lost. I was working with him through email. He didn't even have Facebook, and he lost 40 pounds. He decided to become a coach. He started Facebook, and every time he would get a customer or he would sign a coach, he would text me, boom. And it was him and me. We were the only 2 coaches. You know, he was my only coach that was really doing it. Besides, my mom was kind of doing it too. And so when we decided, hey, we should start like our own team page, our own team group, and we need a team name, you know, Team Boom just kind of happened.
I like it.
Yeah.
Thanks. There's another question before. I don't know if I had any more questions. Diana asked, and we'll finish this up. It is getting late. Thank you so much for the time.
Yeah.
Curious, when did you decide to start posting exactly what you wanted without worrying about what those 1 to 2 people would say? Any aha moment that you had?
I would say when the regret of not doing it became stronger than like caring what other people thought.
Good answer.
Because I saw what this was, and I didn't have. I knew that if I just stayed consistent, I knew this thing wasn't rocket science. I knew it was just about staying consistent with my own journey and connecting and finding good people that I would enjoy hanging out with that wanted to help other people. I knew that it was inevitable I'd find a couple good people that want to do this with me. Mm-hmm. I didn't need a million. I just needed, 2 or 3 really good ones. And I knew that if I didn't just stay consistent and stay on the escalator, I would just continue to regret it. And the regret just became stronger and stronger and stronger to the point where the pain of actually putting in the work and the pain of having to listen to a few haters, like, didn't even seem like that big a deal.
That's awesome. So I might be assigning my team the why list to see if maybe for the Team Spirit Challenge, we have like a whole raffle thing we're doing. So I'm wondering maybe that's what we're going to do as a result of this call. But I did want to, we'll close this up, but I really appreciate you talking about that dynamic of, you just have to have those first couple of people, because it's not something that I talk about a lot, but I except in prior conversations with my leaders who are, rising leaders, but that's what I'll always say is you just find those first few that you lock arms, and then there's no stopping you. But it's just a matter of finding those and that's the visuals, like, who are you going to find that's going to, who you can really lock arms with. And it's just like you said, my first several rock stars were those people who sat and watched me, and then they came around to challenge groups and they told me no, and they said, oh, I'm just going to use a discount, and they were those people. And then I think they just needed to see that I was serious. So I think I just totally underestimate that or don't talk about it enough. So I'm really glad that you hit that hard today, so that people, because I think you stay more motivated when you're thinking that's my goal, not Success Club, not this, that, or the other. When it's like, I want to find my people. I want to find those like people that I just can't wait to like rock this with. Like, I just have so much fun with those people, that my girls, my people, this is that much more fun because I have those people by my side. So when you're focusing on that, I don't know, that's so much more driving than selling stuff.
And I think you got to have, in this business, you have to have a microscope to be doing the daily disciplines. You have to have a telescope to see the big picture. Otherwise, if you don't have both, like you're not gonna do well. The greatest joy in this business, for me at least, is finding a coach finding someone that becomes a coach and discovers the passion for helping others. And they're usually someone that was going through the motions in life and they're okay, but now they're so freaking excited about what they're doing in life. And that just, to me, is the coolest thing about this whole thing. And the only way that that's not going to eventually happen is if you don't stay on the escalator long enough. And then coaches that don't stay on the escalator long enough and find those one or two good people that they have that passion for it, they quit on something they never even knew what they really were quitting on because they never got to experience the best part of it. And it's sad. It's unfortunate. But if you want to be better at communicating that big picture mindset to your coaches, I highly recommend reading a book called The 45-Second Presentation. That book completely changed my perspective on this business. And it totally simplified everything for me. I was like, oh my God, this business is so much simpler than I was giving it credit for. Or it was so much simpler than I was making it. A 45-second presentation. It's just gold.
I'll find it. Well, thank you so much for your time. It was a longer call than I apologize for taking that much more of your time. But again, thank you so much for being here and sharing with us tonight. We have lots of takeaways. I have a page full of notes. So again, we just appreciate the value that you shared with us. So thanks, guys, for being here on the call tonight. I'm going to drop a little assignment in the event to get us to put some of this into application. And hey, it'll enter you into the Team Spirit raffle. So we'll talk about that in a minute. So again, have a great night and thanks for being here.